For 50 years, I've been haunted, not by ghosts, but by dreams. Visions of impossible cities under alien suns, of geometries that twist and break the mind, and a voicey gurgling, inhuman sound that whispers just at the edge of my hearing. It all started with my grandfather. He was a brilliant man, a respected psychologist, but he had a secret obsession, the world of dreams. He wasn't content to just analyze them. He wanted to control them. He believed that through mastering his own dreams, he could unlock the universe's deepest secrets, maybe even speak to the dead. His death was sudden, unexpected. He left a will with strange, specific instructions. My father, his son, was to inherit everything, except for one small, locked chest buried in the backyard. My grandfather forbade him from ever opening it. He said it contained a legacy of madness that should die with him. Of course, my father couldn't resist. He dug it up. Inside, he found a collection of old, leather-bound books, filled with arcane symbols and languages he didn't recognize. And underneath them, a personal diary. That diary was the beginning of the end for my father, and the start of my own nightmare. It detailed my grandfather's descent. He wasn't just exploring dreams, he was performing rituals. He wrote about contacting entities, about traveling to places beyond human comprehension. He spoke of a dream god, a being he called Tzaghoouha, who promised him the key to ultimate knowledge. My grandfather believed he was on the verge of a breakthrough, of achieving true enlightenment by becoming one with the dream itself. My father read the diary from cover to cover, and it broke him. He started having nightmares, the same ones I would later inherit. He'd wake up screaming, talking about the blind idiot god at the center of everything, a name he'd gotten from the journal, Azathoth. He became a shell of his former self, distant and paranoid. The visions drove him to his end. After he was gone, my mother, terrified, reburied the chest and forbade my brother and me from ever speaking of it. But a secret like that doesn't stay buried forever. 50 years passed. The nightmares never left me. They were my constant companions, a shadow in the back of my mind. The gurgling voice became clearer over time, almost like I was starting to understand its alien tongue. My brother, David, was luckier. He seemed to have escaped the family curse. He grew up, built a life, and tried to forget the darkness that consumed our father. But I couldn't forget. I had to know. A few months ago, I finally convinced David. We needed answers. We went back to our childhood home, now abandoned and decaying. We found the spot my grandfather had marked, and we dug. The chest was still there, the wood warped and rotting, but the lock held firm. We broke it open. The books were there, their pages brittle and smelling of damp earth and something else, something faintly metallic and unsettling. And so was the diary. We took them back to my apartment and began to read. This time, we didn't just skim the surface. We cross-referenced the diary with the occult texts. We spent weeks deciphering the symbols, translating the forgotten languages my grandfather had taught himself. What we uncovered was far worse than I could have ever imagined. My grandfather hadn't just been dreaming. He had been traveling. He wrote of leaving his physical body behind and journeying through non-Euclidean corridors of space and time. He described meeting Tzaghoouha not as a god, but as a priest or a guide to something far greater and more terrible. This entity showed him the true nature of reality, a chaotic, meaningless dance of cosmic horrors, with our world being nothing but a fleeting, insignificant dream of a monstrous, slumbering entity. Azathoth. The enlightenment my grandfather sought was the complete dissolution of his own consciousness into this cosmic nightmare. He believed that by merging with the dream, he could escape the limitations of human existence. But the price was his sanity, his humanity, and his soul. His final entries are almost incoherent, a frantic scrawl of terror and awe. He wrote that Tzaghoouha was coming for him, to complete the final ritual. He wasn't mastering the dream was consuming him. The last line he ever wrote was, "The dreamer and the dream are one. I see the throne." Reading this, understanding it, changed everything. The visions I'd had my whole life suddenly clicked into place. They weren't just nightmares. They were echoes of my grandfather's final journey, passed down through our bloodline. The generational curse wasn't just psychological trauma. It was a genuine, tangible connection to whatever abyss my grandfather had thrown himself into. This knowledge destroyed my brother, David. He saw the same patterns in himself that had destroyed our father. The subtle anxieties, the occasional dark thoughts, the fleeting images at the edge of his vision. He became convinced the curse was inside him, too, just dormant. He couldn't live with that knowledge, with the fear of what he might become. Last week, he tried to end it. He's in the hospital now, in a place where they tried to fix minds that have seen too much. He doesn't speak. He just stares at the wall, sometimes whispering a name, Tzaghoouha. And now, it's just me. The books are here, on my table. The diary is open to the last page. The gurgling voice is no longer a whisper. It's a conversation. I'm starting to understand the words. It's telling me that the gate my grandfather opened was never closed. It's offering me the same choice he had, the same journey, the same enlightenment. It says that my brother's path was one of weakness, and that true escape lies in embracing the abyss, not running from it. I feel it pulling at me, the call of the void, my grandfather's legacy. He wanted to become one with the dream, and in a way, he succeeded. He became the nightmare that haunts his bloodline. Now, I stand at the same precipice he did. I can feel my own mind starting to fray, the edges of my reality blurring. The choice before me is simple and stark. Follow my brother into silent madness, or follow my grandfather into a screaming, cosmic oblivion. I don't know which is death, and which is something far, far worse. Thank you for listening to my family's story. If you've ever felt the darkness you can't explain, or heard whispers in your dreams, maybe you'll understand. Please, be careful what you go looking for in the dark. You might just find it. Subscribe for more stories from the edge of reality.